Hey, good evening, Extreme Fitness Junkies. This is Tony. Today, I want to talk about walking and how walking daily may reduce your risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. Now, I credit my posts and the information I'm going to share with you from Nicholas Samson, the New York Times, issue 2024, disclaimer right there. Um, there was a study most recently in the New York Times. Examines benefits of most what's happening in the brain. So, like I said, it was like a really big study. They talked about, um, you know, walking a few thousand steps a day can really, really impact cognitive decline in older adults with increased risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. So, according to recent research, getting about 3,000 to 5,000 daily steps was advantageous compared to doing less physical activity. Uh, so, there's adults that did that 3,000 to 5,000, and then the adults who did 5,000 to 7,500 steps a day saw the greatest bang for their buck. So the link between exercise and dementia is well established, and many neurologists say physical activities is one of the best ways to reduce the odds of developing this condition. A new study published in the journal of Nature Medicine um, sheds light on what might be playing out in the brain that could benefit from most exercises. So I'm going to really sum it up. I am reading the research for you so you can understand it. But basically, what we know from several decades of research is that, and according to Health Research Institute, who there was a research of people who did daily walking, and daily I mean 3,000 to 5,000 steps a day, and they did rigorous exercise. And this study followed 300 older adults between the ages of 50 and 90 for an average of 9 years. None of the participants had cognitive impairments at the start of the study, but 30% had considerable buildup of this protein in your brain, amyloid beta in your brain. So this protein builds up, and what basically is it restricts blood to your brain, which causes plaque, right, for lack of better words, and a hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. But prior to this research has shown that roughly 10% of 50-year-olds and 44% of 90-year-olds have this amyloid plaque without any signs of cognitive impairment. So, what differentiates these people from people that develop cognitive decline over time? According to Jasmeer Chatwal, a neurologist at Massachusetts General Hospital, led the research, which sought to find baseline characteristics that predict that. So we're going to talk about what predicts that. When participants enrolled in the study, they received a pedometer and wore it for a week to establish the average daily count. They underwent cognitive testing annually, PET scans every few years to look at the amyloid plaque accumulation of another protein-related Alzheimer's. Here's the kicker. Researchers think that in Alzheimer's disease, amyloid builds up first, and that triggers those tangles of tau to form inside the neurons and spread through the brain. They also say that it's primarily those tangles, not the amyloid plaques, that cause the brain cells to malfunction. So let me back up a little bit. Inside the brain produces this plaque, but now they're saying it's not the plaque. The plaque hurts something else that causes that cognitive impairment. So the number of steps someone took each day didn't appear to affect their amyloid levels, but it did correlate to the amount of tangles they developed and they experienced cognitive decline. Among the participants with more amyloid in their brains, those who got little to no physical activity. So if you have no physical activity, you have developed more of that plaque in there, which gives more sustenance to these tangles and these wirings of your brain. So among the participants with more amyloid in their brains, those who got little to no physical activity developed more of the tangles. Walking 3,000 to 5,000 steps a day corresponds to less of that tau accumulation and slower cognitive decline. People who took more than 5,000 steps a day fared even better, but getting more than 7,500 steps did not confer on any additional benefit. People with minimal amounts of amyloid in their brain, so that means that less plaque, did not see any changes in their tau or cognitive related to their step count. Chadwell said that maybe because of the individuals were unlikely to experience significant buildup of cognitive decline since they didn't have high levels of amyloid to begin with. So another researcher by the name of Erickson cautioned that these results are observational, so it's possible another factor explains the connection between physical activity and cognition. So what's more, because the participants only wore a pedometer for 1 week at the beginning of the study, their daily steps could have increased or decreased over the years. Another professor by the name of Judy Pa from the University of California, San Diego, called the new research fascinating, but she points out that the study included a relatively small number of participants, most of whom were white and well educated. So they didn't look at any of the minorities when they did this. Can we replicate it in multi-ethnic cohort, she said? The number of steps needed to see a benefit is consistent with other research on physical activities in older adults. So bottom line is, the more physical activity, and this is nothing new, you have, the more you live a better life, whether it be mentally, whether it be physically. Everyone who exercises will experience their brain benefits to some degree. But the new research suggests that people who are at the greatest risk of cognitive decline may stand to gain the most. So you get your better bang for the buck if you know that you have cognitive issues. People with pre-existing amyloid plaques can see an acceleration of disease progression if they're sedentary, Chatwell said. But the good news is that even kind of moderate levels of activity are proactive. So that's a scoop on walking daily and dementia and Alzheimer's for extreme fitness junkies. So I was really reading to you off a study, but I want you to know that what we share here on Extreme Fitness Junkies is not coming out of the sky. It's based and grounded on data, research, and articles. So please subscribe. Please like our page to get more information like this. I really appreciate you guys for listening today. Thank you so much. Peace out.